I'm Kim, the Abundant Traveler, and today I'm going to be sharing with you everything that you need to know before you go to the island of Capri. And that's Capri, not Capri, as we say in American English. It is an incredible island with lots to see and do, and it's definitely a place to be seen. So stay tuned. I'm going to tell you everything that you need to know, from pricing, where to shop, where to stay, what to do, and exciting restaurants to visit while you're on the island. If you're new to the channel, I put out laid-back luxury travel videos inspiring you to buy that plane ticket and go see the world. If you are a subscriber, thank you so much. I appreciate your support and thanks for stopping back by the channel. Being such a famous place and having such a big reputation, it's a very, very small island, actually only 4 square kilometers. And only 13,000 people live on the island full time. There's 2 major towns. There's Capri, the town of Capri, and there's the town of Anacapri, which is up on the mountain. Those are the 2 primary places that you will be visiting and staying when you're on the island. Typically, there are about 2.5 million people that visit the island of Capri every year. This year in 2022, the whole world is traveling, and I would bet they're gonna see 3.5–4 million people on the island this year. 4 million people and 4 square miles. That means it's a lot of people anywhere you go on the island. I was there in the middle of June and it was absolutely jam-packed. The island is famous for see and be seen, for Instagram photos, for celebrities, and for princes and kings. It's an incredible island. Whether you're there for the day or a week, it's very likely you're gonna run into somebody famous. So how do you get to the island? Well, the best way to get there is by ferry. You can go from Naples, from Positano, from Solaro, from Sorrento, and the ferries take about, I would say, 50 minutes to an hour and a half, depending on where you are, and they cost around 20 to 23 euros each direction. The ferries are relatively fast. Basically, every city that you can leave from, they have ferries that leave every 30 minutes, so it's very convenient to get to the island of Capri. I do recommend that if you're staying in Naples or Sorrento or Salerno, Positano, that you go ahead and you buy your ticket the day before you want to actually go on the ferry. The reason for that is just in case they're going to sell out. Likely they won't sell out unless it's high season in the middle of the summer, but just in case, you want to have your ticket in advance. Also, you only need to line up about 15 to 20 minutes before your ferry is supposed to take off. You don't need to be at the ferry port for a long time before your ferry takes off. In addition to a ferry, you can also take a private transfer, and I've left a link in the description below for a private transfer. If you're gonna take a private boat, you're gonna be paying around 600 US, give or take $1, to get to the island of Capri from whichever city you are visiting. So if you're coming on a ferry, where you're going to arrive is the Marina Grande, or the big marina. This is where all the ferries come and go, lots of people. It is actually obviously at sea level, but if you look up, it is quite a hike up to the town of Capri. What I recommend that you do, you can take a taxi up to Capri, which this past summer cost me 25 euros to get to Capri, or the other town of Anacapri, which is further up, 35 euros on the bus. On a taxi. You can also take a bus, and a bus is only gonna be 2 to 3 euros. You can also take the funicular, which is the funicular up as well. Let me just tell you about that funicular. It is jam-packed full of people, so if you have any claustrophobia, then I suggest that you take, well, of course the bus is packed as well. Maybe you just take a taxi, but that is a way that you get from the Marina Grande up. And something to note about the taxis, we had our luggage when we first arrived, and we had to wait 30 minutes for a taxi in the taxi rank. So that's just something to note. Everything was actually 30 minutes, the bus or the taxi, and probably the funicular. So just be prepared, all the people, and to wait in line when you arrive at Marina Grande. If you're gonna be arriving by private boat, or you're actually staying on a boat, then you will be on the opposite side of the island on the little marina. And it is such a cool place to be over there. It's incredible seeing all of these very expensive yachts. We're talking $250,000, $300,000 a week. Plus expenses. I came in on a catamaran my first time to Capri, and it was incredible to come in on Marina Piccola. From there is a bus up to Capri as well, or you can take a taxi, and again, it's gonna be about 25 euros in high season. So what is the weather like and when should you visit the island? Typically, the temperatures rise only to the low 90s in the middle of the summer, but I was there in June and it was almost 100 degrees. Must be global warming. In the summer, it is hot, hot, hot. And the buses are hot and the taxis are hot. Actually, the taxis don't have a top. And so it's open air, which is kind of cool. In the winter though, the wettest month is November. They actually get 32 inches of rain in Capri. So if you're gonna be going in the winter time, make sure to bring an umbrella and a rain jacket as well as a jacket because it gets quite cool. Remember, you are on the continent even though you are on a Mediterranean island. If you're going to go, my recommendation typically to travel is shoulder seasons, just before and after the high season. So I would possibly go in April or May, or I would go in September, October. The weather's gonna be beautiful, not so many people, prices will be better to stay in the luxury accommodations, and the restaurants will be more available. So my recommendation is always the shoulder season. So how long should you stay on the island of Capri? Well, most people come in from Naples, Sorrento, or Positano and they do a day trip. It is well worth spending a couple of nights there. You're going to spend time in the morning getting there, getting up to the city, either Capri or Anacapri or both, trying to get around with all the tourists and then get back on the ferry and go home that night. It's not worth it. My recommendation is to go ahead and spend 2 or 3 nights. I think that spending a week in Capri is probably too much. I think you might get a little bored on that 4 square kilometers, but 3 nights or 4 nights might be perfect. Just my suggestion. So now that you're going to be spending 3 or 4 nights, where should you stay? Well, of course, there are some great Airbnbs as always, but there are some wonderful hotels. Let's talk a little bit about the town of Capri versus Anacapri. Capri is where you're going to run across everybody. It's going to be the most packed. It's where all the day trippers come in and visit. Also, the prices are higher, but there's lots of shopping and lots to do. Whereas up the mountain is Anacapri. Anacapri is more of a quiet town. The shopping is a little less expensive. There are some quieter restaurants up there. There are also some great restaurants that I'm going to discuss that have beautiful sunsets from Anacapri. Personally, I enjoyed staying in Anacapri over Capri. I liked getting out of the crowds and not being around all of those people. A couple of hotels that I recommend: Capri Tiberio Palace, 5-star hotel. The Capri Wine Hotel, which is a great hotel in Capri that's only a 3-star. If you're looking for another 3-star hotel, try the Villa Cesele. Or if you're looking for a sweet little B&B, try Antico Monastero, which is a 2-star hotel, but it's family owned and operated. Very, very sweet up in Anacapri. I'm always asked as a solo traveler, is it safe to go to all these places that I go to? Well, Capri is extremely safe. You can be walking around in the middle of the night. Just don't get in a strange car. The worst thing that I can ever imagine happening is you might get pickpocketed. And I don't even think that that is that big of a deal on the island. So it is a safe island to be a solo female traveler. So now that we have our amount of days, we have our hotel, we are ready to talk about how to get around the island. Well, getting around the island is relatively easy. It's easy to walk. However, the island is a limestone mountain up and down and up and down. So you're definitely gonna get your steps in and your stair steps in when you're on the island of Capri if you choose to walk. You can also take taxis, and taxis cost anywhere from 25 to 35 euros in high season, or you can take the bus. The bus is the most efficient, easiest way to get around. They have a great bus system. The buses will go all over the island and they typically will run every, say, 7-8 minutes from the primary areas. And then if you're looking at the outlying areas, maybe once every 30 minutes. The buses are only about 2 to 3 euros. Sometimes you can buy your ticket on the bus. If you do, make sure you have exact change. Sometimes you can buy it. They have a little kiosk next to the bus stations, and sometimes you have to wait or go to a tabacchi or to go to one of the little grocery stores to pick up your ticket. Either way, it's really easy to get your tickets, so don't worry about that. Just know that it's gonna be anywhere from €1.80 to about €3 for your bus tickets. Before we talk about where to shop and where to eat and things cost, let's talk a little bit about what to pack. It is, again, a see and be seen place. So in the daytime, you can wear shorts, t-shirt, flip-flops / Birkenstocks. your hair up because it's quite warm there in the summer. But at night, especially in Capri, people are dressed up. People are in full length dresses, these boho chic dresses, or these positano dresses that you can buy there. People are dressed up there. They have their jewels on, they have their Prada bags as well. So it is definitely a place to dress up. Lots and lots of beautiful shopping. So if you don't bring anything with you, you can definitely shop till you drop and buy all that you need for these fancy dinners. The beaches are not very easy to walk on. No sand beaches really. So make sure to bring water shoes with you. That's extremely important. Lots of sunscreen, and bring casual shoes because you're gonna be doing lots of walking, especially if there's lots of hiking on the island as well. So if you're a hiker, make sure to bring your sturdy hiking shoes. So it's relatively easy to pack for Capri for 3 or 4 days. And if you're interested in my complete list for packing for the area for Naples, Capri, and the Amalfi Coast, make sure to go to the description below. I have a free download for everything that you're gonna need on your trip. So the shopping on the island. If you're gonna be in Capri, it's gonna be more expensive than in Anacapri. So something to note, you might wanna go up the mountain and do all of your shopping up there. My favorite shop up there was Grotto Fashion. I bought the most beautiful hat up there, woven. They had delicious scarves and all kinds of amazing things. So tell them I sent you if you go up there. Also in Anacapri, there is a beautiful place to buy pottery as well. It's called Tavasi, which is a ceramic maker. So I recommend going up there to buy your pottery as well. In Capri, you're going to find all the name brands. You're going to find your Pucci and your Prada and your Gucci and all of that. You're going to see lots of beautiful, beautiful linen dresses. Everything is blue and yellow, really, really gorgeous. You can also buy custom sandals, which is quite famous in the area. Very flat sandals with beautiful thread running through them. That's a lot of fun to buy as well. So those are the major things that you want to buy. Basically clothes. Now that you are all dressed to the nines, let's talk about some restaurants. In Anacapri, I recommend going to this great little brother and sister restaurant called Om. A-O-M-M. I guess it's like yum yum in English. They were so kind, so generous. This restaurant is very unassuming from the front, but you go to the back courtyard and it's absolutely beautiful. We had the most delicious burrata salad, and I had one of the best fongoles, the pasta with the clams, that I had on my entire trip to the entire area. Definitely recommend, say that the Abundant Traveler sent you to there as well. I also suggest that you go to Aurora. It's a restaurant in Capri that has been around for over 100 years. If you wanna hobnob and rub shoulders with the rich and famous, you might wanna find them there. I also recommend going for a beautiful sunset da Amelia up in Anacapri as well. They go early, have a cocktail, and then go to the restaurant. The food was absolutely delicious, the service incredible, and a couple of interesting places to go to just for a cocktail. You can go to the bar at the funicular, and they have a beautiful sunset overlooking the water and the big marina. It's very unassuming, gonna be lots of people, but it is a cool place to go and get a cocktail. Or you can go to Rooftop Capri, which is over by the Augustus Gardens. That is very hip and very trendy and a great place to go visit and get a cocktail. Make sure when you're getting your limoncello and your Aperol spritzes or your wine, ask for, they should be bringing out olives, potato chips, and peanuts. If they haven't brought all of those out, or 2 or 3 samples of things, just go ahead and ask them to bring those things out. You should be getting those with every single drink. Now I'm gonna touch on just a couple of things to do. Please check out my video about everything that you need to do while you're on the island of Capri. Well, of course, number one that everybody talks about is going to the Blue Grotto. It is cool, it's a quick trip. My recommendation is that you take a private boat over there. Again, I came into Capri on a catamaran, so it was very easy to take our catamaran over there, jump in, go see the Blue Grotto, and get out and stay away from all the crowds. Also going to see the Blue Grotto, we went there really, really early in the morning, like at 8:30. I also recommend going to see Villa Jovis, which is a Roman villa, very, very beautiful. The Augustus Gardens as well, which is over by Rooftop Capri. I also suggest that you go to the top of the mountain on the little chairlift in Anacapri. It's Monte Solaro, which which is the most beautiful view from the top of the island. You can see the small marina. It's a great thing to do. Make sure, again, to go early because it gets hot up there as well. So again, check out my video of everything that you need to do while you're in town, but those are just a few highlights. So before I wrap up, let's talk a little bit about what things cost on the island. I can honestly say if you're gonna go to a sit-down lunch, you're gonna be spending 50, 60 euros for 2 people for lunch, unless you're getting a panini. For dinner, you're gonna be spending 100 euros for 2 people to go to dinner with wine. Of course, lunch was also with wine. You're on Capri, you gotta have wine or Aperol spritzes with every meal. It's gonna be about 15 euros for a pizza, unless you're off the beaten path. Coffees are going to be 2 to 3 euros. Those are just little cafes. Of course, cappuccino is going to be more. A glass of wine in Capri in the main piazza is going to probably be 10 to 12 euros for wine or a spritz of some sort. But if you go off it, maybe off the beaten path, it may only be 6 or 7 euros. So something about off the beaten path before I go back to pricing. Do get off the main drag of everywhere you are. Go take the alleyway to the right or to the left. You'll never know what you run into. You might find a great restaurant, a great shop, a little bit of shade, and you just might find some interesting people to get to know. So back to the pricing. Taxis I mentioned before are 25 to 35 euros in high season in the summer. Hotels, you're gonna be spending anywhere low end from $100 all the way up to $1,000 a night for the 5-star hotels. Doing private tours, you might be spending $50 to $60 to go over to the Blue Grotto. If you're gonna go with 3 or 4 people, you're probably gonna be spending $200 or $300 if you go on a boat yourself. So those are just some of the prices, just something to be prepared. Capri is very expensive, way more expensive than Sorrento and Naples, but I found it to be a little less expensive than Positano. Phew, that was a lot of information on one little teeny island. I hope that you enjoyed my video. I enjoyed making it, and of course I enjoyed visiting Capri, so I could make this video for you. I am Kim, the Abundant Traveler, and I cannot wait to see you on some Mediterranean island very, very soon. Thanks so much for watching. Leave a comment below if you have any recommendations for the island. Take care, everybody. Bye.